Power Play, brought to you by AT&T Canada. It's all within your reach.
I'm Erica M. Today we're in Brampton, Ontario for the annual Antique Aircraft Fly-In Show. This is the only place in North America where they actually fly replicas of those biplanes made famous by those flying aces of World War I. And speaking of aces, here's our very own daredevil, Corey Atkins. What are you up to, Corey?
Your daredevil's posing as an ace. I don't think I'm doing a very good job. So what I think I'm going to have to do is trade in this look for something a little more progressive. Say at the Jim Russell Racing School, where they teach you how to drive Formula 2000 racing cars.
Here's what else we have you in this edition of Power Play.
I can't tell you how amazing this is. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's just like flying.
We'll make one young man's paragliding dreams come true.
I want to gut him. I like that. Yeah, we can gut him. I want to whip him.
Strap on your guns. It's time for a showdown. But is it real or just power play?
That's his neck.
Remember those classic films where the debonair pilot flies over Europe in a dogfight in the First World War? Well, here at the Great War Flying Museum, they keep those memories alive and up in the air.
It's the only one in North America, if not in the world, that specifies just First World War aviation.
The Great War Museum is like stepping back in time. Visitors can see all sorts of military uniforms and various historic pieces relating to aviation in the First World War. But what makes this museum really different is not what you find inside. It's the airplanes outside, both on the ground and in the air.
It's like driving a Model T Ford and jumping into a brand new, let's say, Lincoln Continental.
Richard Sowden is president of the Flying Museum. He's an Air Canada pilot, and like all museum members, he has a passion for vintage planes.
We do it as an education. We're not out here to glorify war. We're out here to tell about the people and what we learn from it, the technology.
Now, Richard, are you sure it's not just a chance for you to go up in the air with these planes?
Well, that's a secondary benefit. It is a lot of fun to go up and fly these airplanes, but if you look at the amount of effort we spend to build these airplanes and maintain them, it takes us almost 5 hours of maintenance for every hour of flying.
Grab the center section and step on the seat as you get in.
Part of the fun at these shows is giving the public a chance to actually get into these older planes. Some people are content with photos.
Hey, now you have to smile a little bit.
But most just look and marvel at the construction.
All of our group are either pilots or ex-mechanics or people who just love to be near airplanes.
Ron Clifford is a retired mechanic for the Toronto Transit Commission and is a key figure in building these planes, including this latest project.
A plane like this is about a 5-year project. Now, as you can see, these are all replicas. They're not original airplanes by any means. Original airplanes, the 1917 planes, would be too delicate to even fly now.
The engine in this replica, like the other museum planes, is anything but 1917 vintage. This one was built in the 1940s and is considered much safer to power the aircraft.
You notice there's a lot of steel tube and metal used now, whereas in the old days they used a lot of wood and fabric. We still use wood and fabric, but in the really critical places, we construct them a lot more solidly.
The wings of these planes are very close to the originals. They're made of wood, and as a result, the painstaking work is very time-consuming. This German Fokker is the most popular airplane at the museum.
This airplane particularly is a very appealing airplane. I guess it's because of the 3 wings, and it's in the color scheme of Baron von Richthofen, who was the top leading ace of the First World War.
John Waldy, like most members, has a special feeling for this plane, made famous by the Red Baron. And John, who was a veteran airline pilot, appreciates the plane's handling.
This airplane was designed primarily to outclimb the British aircraft, so they came to the conclusion that 3 wings were better than 2. And it was pretty good in that regard, and this one still is a very good climbing airplane.
A big part of the Flying Museum's public appeal comes from the air shows members put on.
We fake it all the time here. We chase each other around, and we actually practice our little air show act, which involves chasing each other, and we have smoke attached to these aircraft so we can put the smoke on and make it look as if one of them is being shot down.
In this dogfight, we see the Red Baron Fokker battling a British SE-5 aircraft, similar to the one used during the First War by Canadian flying ace Billy Bishop.
The SE-5 was the fastest, probably, of the First World War airplanes. It would do 136 miles an hour in level flight at sea level.
Flying is fun for the War Museum pilots, but it was much tougher for those during the First War.
When you imagine these guys were fighting these airplanes up at around 20,000 feet without oxygen, I don't know how they did it. Basically, it must have been a 3- or 4-handed operation. So how those guys handled the airplane, handled the engine, and handled the guns all at the same time, they must have been really good airmen.
On the ground, spectators can only imagine what it's like in these single-seater aircraft.
It's similar to riding a motorcycle, only a little faster, and we don't have any autopilots or anything like that to fly the airplane for us, so you've got to fly the airplane the whole time. You have to hold on to your map because it may disappear over the side of the airplane. It is difficult sometimes to make people understand how miserable their conditions were, how cold you can get, how rough the air can be for them.
The veteran pilots with the Flying Museum are the first to admit it's much different handling these older flying machines compared to the newer aircraft.
You have to have the basic hands and feet skills of flying airplanes. I mean, even the modern Cessna trainers that you see now are significantly easier to fly than these airplanes.
These planes may lack the technology and glitz of newer planes, but where else can you get such a high from a history lesson? Coming up, paragliding heaven. High noon in Carson City, Nevada. And high-speed cornering, Danger Man style. Here at Power Play, we get the opportunity to try new things all the time. So we thought we'd pass the good fortune on to one lucky Power Player and give him or her one wish to try something that they've never done before. And our lucky victim is, come on in here, Sean Sunby. Sean works here at Rhonda Smith's Windsurfing School in Oregon. He's an instructor. Okay, Sean, what's it going to be? What would you like to do that you've never done before?
I think I'd like to go paragliding.
Paragliding, okay. And why would you want to do that?
Well, I've seen the guys doing it off the hills here, and the idea of flying appeals to me. Looks like fun.
Well, we're going to have to look into that, see if it's safe, insurance purposes and all, and if it's okay, it's a go. So, to give us the scoop on the sport, we lined up local paragliding instructor Rick Higgins.
Typically here, the most popular place that we paraglide is the mountain right behind you. That's Burdoyne Mountain here in Bingen, Washington.
So someone would just jump off of that?
You don't actually jump, you inflate the wing, pull it up and run down, and once it's flying, then you fly down.
Paragliding looked like the most peaceful flying sport I had ever seen. Paragliders only fly in low winds and are designed to glide through the air no faster than 20 miles an hour. The trick to this sport isn't speed. It's reading the wind and thermal currents to allow you to fly up to hours at a time. So you're prepared to take Sean as a student?
Yeah, I am. What we'll do is go for a tandem flight off the mountain today and give him a chance to feel what it's like to fly.
But seeing paragliding at the 2,000-foot level was a new experience for Sean.
So this is going to be safe? We're going to have a good time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm looking forward to it. Wow, look at that guy go.
Go. Run. Run.
You know, I feel pretty relaxed doing it, but Yeah, the first few times it's an unexpected feeling just to run away from the hill and suddenly you're in the air and flying.
Nervous jitters aside, Sean was determined to follow through with his paraglide ride. We gave him a handycam to record the trip so we could see firsthand what paragliding was like from the air instead of the land.
It's a rush already. I think it's only going to get better. Less of a nervous rush and more of a great sensation rush, I hope.
3, 2, 1, go.
From our bird's eye view, it looked like a picture-perfect takeoff. And out there floating in the sky, Sean was having the time of his life.
Well, I can't tell you how amazing this is. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's just like flying. Well, it sounds like we ran out of this thermal, and I guess what we're going to do now is just move out over the...
Yeah, we're going to head for the LZ.
All right, so we're heading to the LZ. Imagine that.
LZ stands for landing zone for Sean's flight on this point beside the Columbia River. From down below, landing looks smooth for some, but not so smooth for others. And for Sean and Rick, it was pretty much textbook. Power Play's mission accomplished.
Woohoo! Once you got up there, it was, I don't know, he said it was bumpy. I thought it was smooth and wonderful and mellow, and it was really, really great. The view was amazing, you know. I could see my house and, you know, my parents' house, and it was just great.
Hang him! Yeah!
Next, rough justice in the Old West. And Danger Man gets revved up